fucking, I don't know. Great power. For the fifth time, it's your boy Sean.
Welcome back to Reddit on Wiki, the show now TikTok famous for our Am I the Asshole segments. But guess what, Wikimaniacs? It's Monday, so we're back at it again with our bullshit. I'm your host with the most for today's episode. It is I, the Punny Pinoy John. With me, as always, are my amazing co-hosts. First up, the man who claims that Wakanda sucks. Let's start a co-host and Ottawa's own Mr. Josh Shell. What is good, Josh?
I have never claimed that once in my life.
Oh, no.
And everyone's going to be confused. But what's up, everyone?
Known Wakanda lover Josh Shell in the house.
Yeah, I do love Wakanda forever.
To round up the crew is the man who Dave Meltzer would give a 7-star rating for. Shots and Thoughts head honcho and Houston legend, Mr. Sean Salvino. What is good, bro?
What's up, homies? Shout out to our new TikTok listeners. Let me know in the comments if any of you know who the fuck Dave Meltzer is. I bet you maybe like 5%. Josh doesn't know. I don't want to generalize, but Dave Meltzer's a pretty niche kind of guy, I feel like.
I'm assuming wrestling. Am I on something?
So you know how like Roger Ebert is known for reviewing movies?
No, but...
Well, Dave Meltzer's the Rotten Tomatoes of wrestling.
Oh, that is a great tagline.
He'll be like, yeah, this is good, or this is not worth watching. Things like that.
Yep.
He judges matches or people?
Matches.
Okay, because one was definitely more controversial. If you said
definitely the match.
So we got a very chill episode for you today. We'll start out with some catching up, a few housekeeping items, and we'll get on our topic for today's episode, the 40-hour work week. The boys and I will be having some discussion in between, and after we get back from break, we'll hop on Reddit where we read some stories from r/TalesFromTheJob. So let's do some quick housekeeping items before we catch up. And we got this review from a listener, JadeGen358. They gave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. They titled it, Charming and Wildly Inappropriate. The perfect combination. It's facts, though. Especially episodes 2, 5, 8.
Let's not remind them of which episodes are unlistenable.
So JGen358 wrote, the perfect combination. These three are so genuinely funny. I'm so glad to say that these men can and should keep their mics because it's never a dull moment. Laugh my way through every episodes and you guys deserve all the hype.
Wow.
Thank you,
Appreciate that. I kept my mic but lost the stand, as you guys can see watching on YouTube.
Yeah, it's truly wild to just watch a full body shot Josh just laid out, relaxed. You got to get on YouTube to see this. You can't completely spread eagle though, Josh.
No, I as soon as I did it, I regretted it.
Wikimaniacs, let us know in the comments below where is Josh aligning, left or right? You don't get left. Okay,
oh God.
Oh,
please
goodness gracious.
If you want to leave a review like our awesome listener, JGen358, you can do so by heading over to our website at redditonwiki.com. You can leave a rating there or go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, or Good Pods and consider leaving your boys a 5-star rating. It really does go a long way and it helps other people discover us as well. Speaking of discover, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Reddit on Wiki. We're also on TikTok at Reddit on Wiki Pod. And you can find us on YouTube as well if you want to see our handsome faces. And if you want to see Josh keep spreading those beautiful legs. So just search us at Reddit on Wiki. And if you want to support us financially, consider being a patron, not a Patreon. Support starts at $1 and it'll help us cover some fees to create the show. All links on the show notes, or you can go directly to our website at redditonwiki.com.
It starts at $1, but it goes all the way to $25. Believe it or not, you could really support us. $25 a month. You better believe it, baby. If you really love the show, really love the TikToks, that's one way to do it.
Sean also wants to upgrade his studio.
Yeah,
right?
Fucking John has lights. Josh fucking installed brick and grout in there. It's crazy to see that.
All myself.
I still have my should be a regular closet that I shoved all my sneakers in, and nothing hanging on the walls because we haven't painted yet. Wikimaniacs, help me out. You guys love my take. I shame men. That's y'all's vibe right now.
We provided him that mic too.
Yeah, I didn't even buy this mic.
You should do a
man.
shoe review someday.
I'll do it. I feel like the Wikimaniacs don't give a shit about my shoes.
No, that's fair. I mean, I don't either, but
Yeah. Both of you guys don't. John famously hates on sneakerheads.
So now that all that housekeeping items are out of the way, how's life been treating you boys?
well, laying brick and stuff. It was hard work.
Crazy.
So
So if you want to see him lay that down shirtless, you can go to our $25 tier on Patreon.
no,
It's just
not shirtless. I keep this shirt on, but nothing underneath.
Oh,
incredible.
even better.
Yeah, really frames the non-existent abs in here.
Big Canadian vibes. You love to see it. Staying true to the hometown lumberjack.
Next week, all jeans, baby.
My God.
Canadian tuxedo. Let's
Dude,
go.
I love the Canadian tuxedo.
Do you? Is that a style you rock with?
I don't rock it frequently, but I've done it a couple times. I fuck with it.
As a Canadian, I've never done that.
It's a good look, man. You should try it out.
I'm not a jeans guy, man. I honestly hate wearing jeans on my legs, let alone my body. They're just, well, I don't know. What do you call them when they're like, we're talking about all jeans. So it's like leg jeans. Is that what you call them?
Pants, man.
Pants. Thank you. I'm a fucking
Or
idiot.
technically, you're not talking jean. I mean, I guess jean jacket, but technically just denim, right? Denim is denim's
true.
the word you're looking for.
Thank you.
I got you.
Josh would be a killer fuckboy, don't you think? This fool has the potential to be a fuckboy.
Josh is I don't know. I would say all three of us are too nice to be fuckboys.
I'm also very introverted, so I don't know if I.
You have a podcast.
What that makes it worse, if anything.
We have a podcast where we don't see each other in person at all. We just talk to a computer screen, which
I literally go to my basement and talk to as John said, a screen for 3-4 hours.
God.
It's not the coolest thing when you describe it out loud.
Yeah, it's truly wild hearing that out loud.
Holy
We
shit, we're
sit here
losers.
for 3 to 4 hours. Oh my God.
We got no fucking life.
This is our last episode, guys, actually. Believe it or not.
It's like a glass shatter moment for Sean. Oh, God.
What the fuck were we talking about?
I was asking you guys how the fuck
Yeah.
you've been, and then you jumped into this denim bit.
right.
I mean, it was a good bit.
Oh, yeah.
Good, man. The weather's been crazy here. It's been, as Katy Perry would say, hot, then it's cold. It was
Keep saying the rest.
very nice and sunny last week, and this week it's like minus 20
Good
Celsius. So my mental's just been
When that happens, is it like, when it hits negative 20, is it like borderline snow again? Or is it still like sunny? It's just negative 20.
it depends. Like we're getting freezing rain literally right now, but we had snow 2 days ago, and then when it got really cold, it was just like bright blue skies. It was just really cold. It's really hit and miss. Depends on the day.
I remember when I was so younger, I used to think like, oh my God, Houston is so unique because the weather is always changing all the time by the day. And then like I got older on the internet and people would be like, oh, Dallas has the same memes, I guess Texas. And then I'd be like, oh, literally everywhere has the same fucking memes unless you live in California. Everyone just goes through the pains.
Weather sucks wherever you go.
Yeah, no matter
Yeah.
where you're at, unless
That's
you're
fair.
living in California and paying like quadruple the rent.
No, they have some shitty weather in California. Fire season is the worst.
Yeah.
You can literally
that's
you can't
true.
breathe.
And earthquakes.
Earthquakes, sure. I don't know if fires are necessarily they're not a weather thing, you know? They're
But it
So-
does
because
though,
it doesn't
because you
rain.
you can't breathe, dude. Because how the air quality
Sure.
sucks. The drier
Everywhere
it gets,
sucks, guys.
Yeah.
Everywhere
Yeah.
fucking sucks.
Damn. If you're listening and you like where you live weather-wise, let us know so we can all move there.
Oh, yeah, that's nice. And you could really help us afford to live wherever that is by hitting our $25 Patreon tier. I just hate to bring it back up again.
Or just
Do
let
you
us
know-
live with you. Yeah, let's
So before we keep going, let's kind of jump in the topic that we're gonna have today. But first, I would like to pose you guys some questions. So when you guys were growing up, what did you envision your dream job would be?
We're going full on depression mode here now, huh?
Hey, let's do it.
Not what I'm doing now.
Sounds like I wish I
Right.
could be at the Oscars smacking the shit out of Chris Rock.
I wish I could be at the Oscars getting slapped in the face by Will Smith. I don't give a shit, bro.
That's fair, yeah. What was your dream job, Sean?
Honestly, I don't know. Like a professional wrestler lawyer.
A what?
Interesting.
A lawyer that also professional wrestlers.
You could sell that like lawyer by day, crime fighter by night, and then
Low key.
that's a good bit.
They had a guy in the 90s. Not that I idealized him. So one, I loved wrestling as a kid. Two, my favorite aunt was a lawyer. So there was a lawyer wrestler in the 90s. What was his name, John? Erwin something,
IRS.
something. But yeah, his initials spelled out IRS.
IRS. Yeah.
He was a big dickhead. I didn't want to be like him, but I wanted to be a cool lawyer that was also a professional wrestler.
How many cool lawyers do you know?
Just my aunt,
Daredevil's cool.
Daredevil, my sister-in-law. So that's three. That's
So your sister-in-law is living half your dream.
Yeah, I mean, technically, when you think about it that way, that's true.
She just needs to be a wrestler.
Yeah, especially when I see her paycheck, I'm like, yeah, that is half my dream, huh?
Half your dream's just the paycheck.
The defending people is cool, but really, it's that money.
Yeah. I want to get famous enough someday that you and John can do a tag team match in the ring.
Oh, I would do it borderline for free if I.
Me too. I'd be a jobber.
No, but I know, but we got to get famous enough so that it makes sense for
so that people want to see it. Otherwise,
so someone pays for it.
Otherwise, it's two chubby Filipino men rubbing.
Dude, I look like Rey Mysterio if I ate Rey Mysterio. That's how fucking tiny I am. It's tiny and obese at the same time. Holy shit, that's horrible. What about you, Josh? What's your dream job?
It was in sports as well, not lawyer, but I did want to be a professional soccer player for quite a while. I'm garbage now. I'm terrible now. My knees are gone. But yeah, that was my dream job. I always idolized Lionel Messi, so played striker for a bit and then midfield just like he did. So big fan of that.
Do you like how Messi hangs out with Kanye West now?
Fuck. Well, like Sean's dreams, there go mine. I have no idols left. Will Smith and Lionel Messi were all I had.
Hey, I didn't get to weigh in on the Will Smith thing.
Yeah, actually, I do want to get Sean's take on this. We also did talk for like 10 minutes. We cut that down to like a 3-minute clip.
Is that going out like on a podcast thing, or is that just strictly TikTok?
Nah, it was just TikTok. I didn't edit the full thing.
Okay, then I'll just go quick. I don't want to take over John's episode.
Nah,
By all
take it
means,
over.
go ahead.
John doesn't care unless he has to talk. Less work
Exactly.
he has to do.
This is a whole 2 weeks later, I imagine, when this comes out. So by the time the Wikimaniacs hear this, they're gonna be like, Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up about Will Smith. But I'll just go quick. Not the asshole. Yeah.
Oh.
Was that the best way to handle it? Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. Oversensitive? Debatable. Someone that suffers from alopecia and someone that their hair was award winning and part of their identity. You know what I mean?
Go into that. Well, how your hair was award winning?
2 times in high school, one best hair of my class. 2 years out of my 4 years in high school. It's no big deal. People voted for it.
Sean was homeschooled.
I was not homeschooled. Thank you very much. I have the yearbooks. I could post it on our fucking Instagram or TikTok or whatever. It's very do y'all know that emo TikTok sound? The fucking oh my god. Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall again, over again. Yeah, very much that vibe with my hair. I had the side bangs, the fake sideburns, and then like a mullet. It was
A
fantastic.
mullet. Shit.
A fucking mullet?
Oh, yeah.
You gotta post that shit on Instagram, bro.
Yeah, you have to now.
Over again. Yeah, you better believe it.
Actually, post it on Patreon.
Yeah, the $25
There you go.
tier, believe it or not.
If you want to see Sean's hair back when he was in high school, join our Patreon.
That's the one thing that isn't a lie that I've said about the $25 Patreon. If we have somebody sign up, I'll put that picture up.
No, throw it on the $1. I want to get more people in.
That's fair. If we get 100 people on the $1 tier, I will post it.
You Sean as bait. So all right, let me ask you this now. Oh, Sean, you're done with the. Would you?
I want to be quick. I don't want to.
All right, you're fine.
The people are tired. It's been 2 days after we're tired of it.
Yeah, but you know how the news cycle is like. It's done now, and then everyone in 2 weeks will be like, "Oh yeah, I remember when Will Smith did that thing."
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I will say, just my last few thoughts on it. I agree with you to a point. I've had some time to think about it, and definitely in our comments on the TikTok, they were like, maybe a white guy shouldn't be talking about this, which is fair.
Fair.
And I'd like to go on to that to say it was ridiculous seeing all the fucking white comics come out to White Knight for Chris Rock. Like, holy shit, guys. He is a grown ass man. He can fight his own battles. Comedy is not under attack. You are all fine. Grow the fuck up.
Yeah, I did notice a bunch of comedians took offense. Like in general, a bunch of like comedians of all genders and race. The white men definitely stuck out more, but like comedians,
our algorithm's a little different.
Yeah, our algo's a little different, unfortunately.
Because Josh hates Wakanda.
We need to stop saying that.
No.
I hate Wakanda.
If you guys want to know what John's talking about, listen to the Pineapple Pizza podcast episode that came out on April 1st, where he portrays Linz, who hates what. No, I'm just kidding.
Throw Linz under the bus. So to move on, many of us dream of escaping that 9-to-5 grind, but one might wonder, where did the 40-hour week come from? So according to Wikipedia, the 8-hour day movement or 40-hour week movement, also known as the short time movement, feels like that's a dig on me, was a social movement to regulate the length of a working day, preventing excesses and abuses. An 8-hour workday has its origins in the 16th century Spain, but the modern movement dates back to the Industrial Revolution in Britain, where industrial productions in large factories transformed working life. At that time, the working day could range from 10 to 16 hours. Not much has changed for me. The work week was typically 6 days a week, and the use of child labor was common. The first country that introduced the 8-hour workday by law for factory and fortification workers was Spain in 1593. In contemporary era, it was established for all professions by the Soviet Union in 1917. So the move to the 40 hours was actually popularized back in 1914, where according to NBCnews.com, the standard work week was actually 6 days and pushing to about 48-ish hours. But it was then suggested by automotive industry mogul Henry Ford to reduce the work week to 40 hours a week because he felt like more time on the factory floor was bad for business and would decrease employee productivity. So Henry Ford kind of...
Wow. You know what? Hearing you talk about this reminds me that Shots and Thoughts did an episode on Labor Day, and a lot of this information is kind of crossover.
Oh, look at you. Retaining some information.
John's like, where do you think I got this?
You know what? That probably be it. That's subconsciously why I thought about it. So this would prompt then U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt to pass the Fair Labor Standards Act in 1938, which was part of his New Deal at the time. So this New Deal improved working conditions and saw reforms involving establishing a minimum wage and putting an end to, quote, oppressive forms of child labor. So that was kind of just a super brief information about the 40-hour work week. I told y'all I didn't write shit. This is the portion where I kind of wanted to have a little bit discussion with you guys, and I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts. We're going to try to make this as much as an open discussion as possible, but I do have some set questions that I did want to ask. The first one I wanted to ask you guys, did the pandemic shift your mentality when it comes to work?
100%. I had just started my current job when the pandemic started. So immediately, like 2 weeks in, we transferred to work from home, and I've never been back. And it has drastically changed my thoughts on the classic office workplace and going in and wasting all your time with the commute and busy work here and there when you're trying to look busy. And it's so much less stressful to be work from home. Not that being said, there are downfalls. You don't get quite as much social interaction as you'd like from home, but you have more time to do social things with friends and with family and stuff like that. So it's kind of, it evens out somewhere. Yeah. I'd say in general, I've definitely done a 180 on the whole office culture.
Sean?
Yeah. I mean, likewise, I do not get to work from home, but I've seen all my friends work remote, and it's just been like, Ryan is big on like always being like conscious of time and things like that. Like
constantly high.
No. What he likes to watch those videos that are like, say there's only this many weeks in your life and you've lived this many, right. Those type of videos, like that really fucks with his brain and motivates him to like YOLO and live life how he wants to live life and shit. And I would always think about that too. Like whenever you watch those videos, it tells you how much time you fucking waste driving.
Yeah.
How much time you have in your car, or like how much time you spend with your coworkers as opposed to spending time with your family, like your parents and your, the family that you've made. And
man.
Just shit like that. And it's just like, oh my God, that's fucking ridiculous. And then COVID happens. And then you're like, wait, we could just fucking take all that shit out and then spend all that time with the people that we want to spend the time with. I mean, yes, you're working at home and doing work, but you're like at least physically in the same realm with them.
And you have to have lunch together, take breaks together, go on walks when you're taking those breaks.
Exactly.
During the pandemic at certain points, my girlfriend who does teach, she was teaching from home. And so, as I said, we were both home. We'd have lunch together. It was nice. We go on walks at certain points during the day when she had time off. And it was nice. Like you get to spend real quality time with someone rather than getting home from a tiring workday commute and then just kind of flopping yourself on the couch and watching TV and then going to bed.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that extra time where you actually got to spend quality time with friends, family, whoever it was, and kind of enjoy life for a bit.
Yeah, and you guys bring such a valid point when it comes to remote work, and it's actually a perfect segue to the next question I had for you guys. So besides, remote work being considered a norm, and again, sorry, Sean, that you didn't get to experience that, what would you like to see change in either the workplace or kind of like the trend towards how the workplace is going to be like moving forward?
It just seems like the trend is more and more places are foregoing buying office buildings and are renting office space and being like, well, if everyone's getting all their shit done remote, there's no need for this. Hopefully that trend continues even after COVID. I mean, COVID's never ending, but when COVID is less of a threat, you know what I mean? It's more flu-like. So hopefully that continues happening. The remote jobs are plentiful. So I just hope that trend continues and, trying to be like, yo, my guy.
I'd even take it a step further and say, I've been a pro 4-day work week guy for a while.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Ooh, my guy, you don't know how many times I pitched that. So many times already.
There are some weeks where 5 days a week I might have to work because I have stuff to do. But there are some weeks where it's like, okay, I'm doing this not because I have to, but because I have to find something to do. You know what I mean? And so you're making busy work for yourself.
Yep.
Now that's, like I said, not every week, but there are a lot of jobs where I feel don't require 40 hours a week. You could do that in whatever 32 or however many you cut it down to in a 4-day week. And I don't know about you guys, but 3-day weeks, and like we just talked about, it's going to be Easter coming up here. Those are the best weeks when you have a 3-day weekend and a 4-day work week. You have so much more time to do stuff. You have Saturday to kind of get your shit together, chores, and then you got Sunday to chill, go do something, and then you got Monday off or Friday off, whatever it happens to be. And it's the best. Like you feel so much more rested going into that work week and so much more rejuvenated and ready to tackle any problems that you have rather than do all your chores Saturday, freak out because tomorrow's work week.
Sunday. Yeah,
just
exactly.
Never come down from the stress. Sunday scaries big pro advocate for 4-day work weeks.
And it's crazy because every time we would have like 3-day weekends, that Monday coming back or that Tuesday coming back, those are usually my most productive days. Because I would just sit down and just be like, okay, there were emails that came over Friday or like, Saturday and Sunday. I need to be focused and get the shit done. And those days, they suck, but I probably knock all those emails out because I'm like laser focused. Like, all right, this shit just has to be done. Instead of just a regular week, it's just like, fuck, it's Monday again. I'm pissed off. Let me just kind of like drag the work. And then, it extends your pretty much day wasting around kind of like idling instead of just be like, all right, I only have 4 days to work with this week. I got to be focused.
Yeah. No, 100%. And when you go into work that day, you know you have work to do. Mm-hmm. Whereas not every Monday going into work, you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't have meetings yet. Like, I don't really have any work built up to do that day until, you have your afternoon meeting and you're like, oh, okay, I'll do this now. And then Tuesday's usually your more productive day anyway. Now, this is the caveat of office jobs. I guess we should clarify. There are many trades jobs and
yes,
work with your hand, quote unquote, real jobs where you're working with your hands, which like my dad does and my brother. And so I guess caveat is a lot of this stuff wouldn't translate, but you could find ways to make those jobs easier too. I don't know how, but someone could.
Fucking capitalism. Okay, let me pose this question. So it seems like 4-day work week is kind of like something that you would want to see implemented someday, Josh. So what initiatives do you think employers can provide to either A, retain talent, or B, keep their talent engaged, like the people they have? Like, how do they keep them engaged being an employee? This is my HR just like fucking getting excited talking about this with you guys, by the way.
I feel like this is a company interview after
Right.
like an exit interview or something.
Yes, I do those
What
too
could we
many
have done to
times.
keep you?
Yeah, this is Sean and Mai's last episode. I mean, the biggest thing is, and the most obvious thing is just fucking pay people more.
Yeah.
You know, cost of living has shot up, especially recently. Inflation is a fucking bitch. And I have lots of thoughts on that, but we won't get into that. But anyway, like inflation and housing and goddamn everything is getting so much more expensive. But, you know, the salaries are relatively the same. And it's like, how are we supposed to survive on this? So the biggest thing is to keep employees is to just fucking pay them what they're worth. Yeah, if you do that, you'll keep most of your employees happy because even if they get annoyed, they'll be like, oh, at least I can go home knowing that I've saved a little bit of money this week and I don't have to worry about food, rent, all that kind of shit. Whereas nowadays it's like, I got to hold this paycheck for this long because my rent's due in a couple weeks and I won't get my next paycheck until after that. You know, it's like you're doing all this mental gymnastics to try and figure out bills and shit. Whereas if people just got paid what they're worth and what inflation has gone up, then, you know, a little less stress on the middle lower class people. So that's my biggest answer. I'm sure there's tons of incentives people could offer, free healthcare, dental. I don't know. I'm not in HR, so this is not my job.
What about you, Sean?
I mean, yes, it's the same thing, you know, kind of ask, oh, why are all these people leaving? Oh, they can get like a 15% pay raise if they fucking move.
Yeah.
Well, of course they would move.
That's what
so why don't I want to say that's what most millennials do.
Yeah.
And
Gen Z,
rightfully so. And Gen Z for sure. Just get what you're worth. Interview nonstop, get what you're worth. And all you could do is let them know, hey, I got offered this much, balls in your court. If you think I'm worth that much, then I'll stay, whatever.
You don't owe your company anything more than your 40 hours a week. Like you're not tied to them. If you can find a better working condition, a better pay raise, don't feel obligated to stay where you are. You can absolutely move on if they're not willing to pay and provide you with what you require or what someone else is willing to pay you. So don't feel trapped in the corporate world. Millennials and Gen Zs. Boomers are mostly out. So.
Yeah, let them die. All right, so
I didn't say that.
Jesus Christ.
let them die off of the workplace. Damn, chill. Okay, so there's actually a big reason why I kind of set you guys up for those questions, because the last one I kind of wanted to ask you is going to be a little bit on topic. So let's say the Cultivate Network or Reddit on Wiki becomes this global empire, right? And we end up having some employees. God. What would be the work condition like at our quote unquote HQ? Think benefits, think hours that they got to work, go wild. It's as far as your imagination can take you.
Oh man, it depends on what kind of content we're putting out. Like if we're doing more episodes or whatever. But yeah,
like pretend,
I don't know.
Pretend we're an entertainment or like a media company, like a full blown media company.
Right. I'd say make your own hours is a big one.
Yeah, as long as you're hitting your objective, I don't care how long you fucking work.
Yeah, we'll set a deadline for a project, and if you want to work fucking 9 p.m. till 5 a.m. because that's when you like to work.
Before.
Yeah, whatever. As long as it's done. Yeah, I think hours would be a lot more flexible. Probably depending, like I said, depending on. We might work ourselves a bit more than we work if we had employees, but that's because it's our company. We're a bit more invested in it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd probably limit myself to 40 hours maximum. And then any other employee is probably 4 days a week. Like I said, depending on what we have, if we have an editor or a researcher or something like that, just work this amount of hours this week. These are the deadlines for the project. If you get them done, then that's awesome.
Wait,
that's it. That's my only rules.
Hey, that sounds like a fucking good ass company to work for.
Yeah, honestly, just get your shit done. I mean, I'm a fucking podcast host. I don't know the ins and outs of what it takes to run an entertainment firm.
Exactly.
But I mean, I imagine as long as everybody, send in your research so the podcasters can record their podcast on time. Social media managers, make sure you're getting your post out whenever you schedule your automated social media scheduler thing, or, just everybody make sure you're fucking doing the job that, you're hired for. We're not asking for anything more. We're not asking to be innovative. That's probably should be our job as the, as the bosses or whatever. So yeah, just 40 hours a week. Who cares? Just get your shit done.
Yeah.
I like it.
We can come up to a deadline. If the deadline is too close, we'll fucking negotiate a way that it works out for everybody. But I mean, like, there's no busy work will be so unnecessary. Any kind of work hours that don't work for you will be unnecessary. I don't know. Yeah. It's just, I would want to treat my employees how I would want to be treated, and then just having freedom to do as I please,
Yeah. Like, I don't know if this is hypothetical. If we had a studio or something, we'd only require certain people in for like recording, and then everyone could do like editing, researching, whatever from home. So it would not be you have to come into an office kind of thing every day.
If anything, the studio could just be an option for the people that want to do that.
True. Yeah. If you find working in an office works better for you, we'd have space for that. And then we'd obviously have to go in to record an episode or whatever. And we batch record anyway. So that might even just be one day. So,
yeah, that's true. Because my ass would never show up anyways, besides recording time.
Honestly, like, what do you call it? Jake and Amir from Headgum.
True.
When they were before COVID, they had like times in their years where they were doing the podcast on like East and West Coast before Zoom was a thing. So they would fly in, batch record for a day, and then just,
I mean, if we're being honest, that's how we'd have to do it anyway, because I'm in Canada. So
True. Yeah.
I'd probably fly in for a week and we'd figure it out.
Shit, I wouldn't mind fucking flying into the most central area, fucking Chicago for a couple days.
That's true.
Every 2 or 3 weeks.
Knock it out, yeah.
Or Austin, Texas, to make you feel more comfortable, Josh.
Yeah, we'll borrow Joe's studio. Yeah,
too close to Joe.
Well, I do appreciate that conversation. So the only reason why I really wanted to ask that is because I'm not saying like we're getting too popular to a point but think big, you know what I'm saying? Like, we never know that could be possible for us.
I mean, we definitely didn't think we were going to hit 25,000 downloads. And I mean, honestly, we didn't even think we were going to hit, what the fuck is the math? Y'all know I'm bad at math. 17,000 downloads in one month.
A month? Yeah.
I think we're probably, in a 1 month. It's crazy.
Ridiculous. That's more than our whole other time that we've existed.
So exactly.
I was going to say that's more than double what we had before, if you think about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's also true. So it's just, it's not like we're getting too big for our britches, but it's just like, why not dream big,
Exactly.
Manifest some shit.
Why not us?
If that doesn't work out, we can all become lawyer wrestlers.
There you
go.
Hell
yeah.
Could be a trios.
Yeah.
Trios team right there. That'd be pretty dope.
I don't know what our name would be, but we'll figure it out.
I don't know.
I like it. I'm just picturing the gear right now. Some assless chaps.
Nice. Oh, yeah.
Luchador masks so we can keep our lawyer jobs during the day.
True. So no one can know our true identity.
No one can know.
Are we going to just look like Legado del Fantasma? I don't know if you know who they are, Sean. They're from NXT.
I know they're on NXT. Do they wear assless chaps? That's my vibe right now. I'm into the assless chaps.
I was gonna say, because we're probably gonna have to wear like some sort of a suit and then assless chaps with masks. That's gonna be pretty ridiculous.
Interesting.
All right,
I'll draw some sketches.
So before we get into some Reddit stories, we'll be right back on Reddit on Wiki after a few words from our sponsors. All right, welcome back, Wikimaniacs, and we are now going to our Reddit section of this episode. So we're going to r/TalesFromTheJob for some crazy work stories. Sean, you're up first.
All right. What was your craziest work story? Oh,
what was that?
We have a whiteboard.
Oh, I'm about to say, I'm like,
the whiteboard fell.
Oh no!
And it's a large whiteboard, very
Jesus.
big.
Fuck.
Oh, that was scary. Okay. All right. What was your craziest work story? This is from Carl 0071.
Wow.
How a tiny cost-saving experiment cost a company over 115,000 pounds of whiskey. I think that's the pound sign. Again, I'm a dumbass. All right. So this happened a few years ago at a company which I didn't work at, but I worked next to. I spoke with the factory staff mostly during coffee breaks in the communal loading bay. The company manufactured various ceramics from plates and mugs to more specialty orders like whiskey bottles and commemorative plaques. They had been in talks with a big whiskey company in Scotland for several months to manufacture 250,000 ceramic whiskey bottles over the next 5 years. I regularly chatted with these guys from the factory floor, and some of them have been in the ceramic industry since they'd left school, and what they didn't know about ceramics wasn't worth knowing. Anyway, after the whiskey company was satisfied that they could handle the volume of over 1,000 bottles a week and their quality standards, the final hurdle came down to the price. I don't know the exact numbers, but they ended up arguing over a few pence on each one. I don't know what pence are.
Yeah, what does that translate to? Like a
is that pounds?
dollar? No, it can't be.
A cent?
Cent, maybe
Maybe
cent.
a few cents. All right. Anyways, sorry, British Wikimaniacs.
We do have a lot too, actually.
Do we?
Yeah.
Shout out. Oh, yeah. Bloody old England. Yeah. Oh, awful.
You've immediately offended all
I
of them.
take it back. I take it back. Oh, fish and chips. Fuck me.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning.
Peaky fucking blind. That's Irish, Scottish. I don't know. That's I'm so sorry. I tried to back to this Reddit story. Anxiety. All right. Eventually, the order came through and the first batch went into production. But the guys on the factory floor weren't happy. They explained to me that in order to make the slip, the ceramic liquid, cheaper, they were told to use less of one expensive ingredient and substitute it with something cheaper. The whiskey company was completely aware of this change, as this was all part of the cost-saving measure. This mold for the whiskey bottle was thickened to compensate for a slightly weaker ceramic slip.
Oh.
So the first 1,000 bottles were delivered to the customer successfully, and the bottling process began. Meanwhile, the ceramics factory ramped up production to around 1,200 a week in order to maintain an overstock to ensure they wouldn't incur a penalty should delivery deadlines be missed due to a potential production or supply issue. It sounds a lot like day job shit, supply chain shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, again, the factory staff were not entirely happy with the product quality, but they were very pleased with the practically unlimited overtime they could pick up. About a month passes, and I hear some awful news from one of the factory staff. The whiskey company completed their first bottling operation using the new ceramic bottles, but once they'd been filled up and moved around with a forklift truck, the bottoms were breaking open on practically every single one.
No.
Worse still, this was only discovered after all 1,000 had been filled with whiskey.
Oh, that's a lot of whiskey.
That's a lot of fucking whiskey.
Holy shit.
Production of the bottles was immediately stopped so that the cause of the problem could be determined. They even went as far as sending the bottles to be X-rayed to check their structural integrity.
What?
Eventually, I didn't even know you could X-ray a fucking
You can
ceramic.
see through them, dumbass.
Jesus. Eventually, it was discovered that even though the thickness of the ceramic had been increased, this wasn't enough to stop the bottom from falling out after it was filled with whiskey and then moved with a forklift once it was boxed and palletized. So these were expensive bottles of whiskey, which would go on to retail for over £100 a bottle. And practically all of the 1,000 bottles from the first bottling were now leaking their precious content across the whiskey warehouse.
Ugh.
The following week, 2 large skips, or dumpsters for you Americans,
Thank you.
arrived, or Canadians, North Americans, you know what I mean? Arrived at the ceramics factory, and the staff were ordered to smash and dump every single one of the 2,500 whiskey bottles, which were still in the factory in various stages of production. Some were unglazed and straight out of the molds, and others were completed with glaze, artwork, and stickers. I went outside purely out of morbid curiosity to see pallet after pallet of empty whiskey bottles being taken outside and each one smashed by hand with a hammer into the dumpster.
Okay, I will say this. That would be a satisfying ass job.
That would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's One of those wrecking rooms,
Yeah.
but you're getting paid for it.
Baseball bat.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck this.
I saw firsthand what had gone wrong with the bottles. The finished bottle looked flawless, but even the gentlest tap with the hammer and the whole bottom just fell out as if it were made out of an eggshell. I know that hitting a ceramic bottle with a hammer sounds like a harsh test, but these were thick, heavy ceramic bottles which weighed about 2 pounds when they were empty. And yet, the bottom of each one shattered like a thick eggshell. A few days later, production on the whiskey bottles started again using the original, slightly more expensive design. I was told that the product liability insurance claim was in the region of £115,000, and most of this was paid to the whiskey company for the lost whiskey, but some was being paid to the ceramics company for the raw cost of the lost materials they had to dump in the skip. The lesson here is to not be clever and to try and save a few pennies on a vessel, which will hold £100 worth of whiskey.
Wow.
The end.
I learned my
Jesus.
lesson today.
Don't skip out on quality.
Yeah, don't skip out on the
skip out.
quality.
I like that.
Otherwise, it goes in the skip. Wow. Am I John?
Yes.
$25 peer. Pay me,
Nope,
baby.
that is a very whiskey business that you are taking if you do that, buddy.
Awful. Ah, damn it.
I don't have a joke, so I'm going to do mine. What was your craziest work story? So this comes from the subreddit TalesFromTheJob, posted by Foolish Pheasant. The title is, "A lady got mad because I wouldn't allow her to commit fraud." You know, I usually get mad when people don't allow me to do that either, but
That's pretty fucked up.
I am a bank teller and usually things go pretty well with customers. I worked a wide array of customer service jobs from Walmart to movie theaters to sales calls for HSN. Working at a bank is probably the best so far because people are less likely to be jerks to you when it comes to their money, usually. This past Saturday, I had a lady write a check from her business account. She wrote the check right in front of me. When I took it from her to cash, then deposit it, as she requested so they'd get the funds right away, I glanced at it and felt my heart sink. She was already back from a previous transaction which wasn't done the way she wanted, so I knew she was the type that was going to be snotty about any little thing that didn't go her way. The check was made out to her business co-owner, a guy, and she had signed the back in his name. When I refused to take it and gave her another option that would have saved her writing/wasting another check, she got huffy and said it had to be written to the guy for the business reasons. Okay, so he has to sign it. Otherwise, it's fraud. Even if he approves it, if it's not his signature, he could come back later and say he didn't sign it and I'm the one on the hook. Regardless, it's fraud and I'm not doing it. Mad now, the lady threateningly said she could go get him, but he wouldn't be happy. I just gave her my best customer service smile and said, okay, and turned around to go back to my station until I could actually help her. The funny thing is, the guy didn't seem fazed when they came back in. He signed the check, I did their transaction, and that was it. Except the lady paused before leaving, staring at me like she expected an apology. Again, with a stupid fake grin, I thanked her and walked away.
Wait, you made me read a goddamn book.
Yeah, Sean's is not clippable.
No,
You made me read a goddamn
I thought it was
book.
shorter when I was looking at it. All right.
My God, that was long.
You know
and
what? That's fair, Sean. You would not read it either. You would just give it to us to do.
I
didn't
skip my
read-
shit. I skip my shit. I've never made, well, no, I've made y'all read some pretty long ones.
I didn't even skim anything. I just was like, whatever. The first thing I see, fuck it. I told you
Holy
I haven't had time to do shit. Okay. All right. So for my last one, what was your craziest work story? So according to user TwistedMonkey07, they titled it, "The customer wants discount for being white."
Oh,
I'm surprised you didn't make me read this one.
I wanted to read it because
Are you just going to stare at me the whole time?
yes. So I used to work at my local zoo at the front, just mainly checking people in, answering phones, filling out spreadsheets. It was a very simple job with good pay. On one slow day, we had a number of people calling in for some reason. Normal questions were about prices, hours, and the occasional, "Can I speak to Mr. Monkey?" prank calls. The next call I got was very
hilarious.
It's a good bit.
interesting. It was a woman who was calling to ask for prices. I go through my normal script of prices per age. She then asked me, word for word, quote, "Is there any discount for a white adult?
No, never. Well, I shouldn't say never, actually.
Definitely, there has been. There for sure has
actually.
been.
If you go back 50 years, there probably was.
Louisiana Purchase was one of them.
Jesus.
Unfortunately, racism not that long ago. Maybe
Yeah.
like 70 years, honestly.
How old was this lady? She might have lived through it. So.
She might have been there.
I was taken aback. I asked her, quote, "I'm sorry, I didn't catch that." And in a total
You know,
did.
Wednesday White People Day. We get a half off. Come on.
White Wednesdays? You didn't know?
and in a totally serious tone, she said firmly, "Do you have any discounts for white adults?"
She has to be old. There's no way.
No, sorry, ma'am. Only white children.
In fact, all children, believe it or not, they have a discount on Thursdays.
Toddler Thursdays. Right after White Wednesdays. now where I live, it's predominantly Hispanic, so not really used to interactions like this. I just ended up telling her as professionally as I could, quote, "No, I'm sorry, we don't give discounts based on race. That would be racist."
Yeah.
She, no lie, tells me, "Well, that doesn't make sense," and hung up.
What? Pardon?
No
you
way.
mean not giving discounts to different races is not racist? I'm a little
The
lost.
math is not mathing. I don't understand the logic.
Can you draw a map for me?
To this day, I am not entirely sure if it was a prank or a legit question. My money is on the latter because she sounded like a typical Karen would.
Oh God.
Gross.
Oh,
Jeez. Some people.
some people.
I like how y'all two had real fun stories, just great stories. And then mine was supply chain. Supply chain, and then just, oops, we wanted to save a little bit, cut costs here.
It had to do with
but let me-
alcohol though, Sean. Sean's
Yeah,
thoughts,
let
you
me
know?
explain in 2 whole pages why. I could have wrote that story in 1 paragraph.
They cut costs on bottles. Bottles broke. End of story.
Oopsies.
I am cutting costs by just copy and pasting shit on Wikipedia, so I read it,
That's fair.
and I am not writing shit today.
I don't blame you. I haven't written a single thing on this show.
True.
So that's it this week, Wikimaniacs. Let us know your thoughts by interacting with us on our social media, Reddit on Wiki or Twitter, on Twitter or IG. If you have a funny work story that you want to send over, you can send it to us on our email at redditonwikipod@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube and follow us on TikTok at Reddit on Wikipod. See you on Friday for another Am I the Asshole episode. And remember, if you saw something that kept you up at night, you must have read it on Wiki. Peace.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Thank you.
Feliz cumpleaños!
Spread those legs.
Maligayang bati, Josh!
Expert in fucking, I don't know.
Great power. For the 5th time, it's your boy Sean.